you'll need those.
Oh yeah. It's not, it's a side effect of not having a couple of pints, more. In the seminar room is that losing the plot, Okie dokie, welcome back. Where are we? We're on the next section, that's the easiest way. We will do a section and we'll have another break and then do the final bit. We should be finished by about between 5:30 and 6:15 because we've kept the break shorter than I normally do. And then people can get fresh air, go to the hotels if they choose. Well, ultimately I can assure you that very shortly after finishing I'll be at the White Lane Public House on Yorkshire Street opposite Farm Foods. Having a few beverages. Tiger taxis are the cheapest. It's conveniently located directly across the road, well, 2-minute walk from Mia's Indian restaurant. Plan on going in the rounds of about 8:30 to eat. Everyone is welcome to join me. Even though it will be noisy in the pub, I've already cleared it that we can sit behind the screen so the sound's away from us and we've got our own area. Cool, right, welcome back. On some level, I hope everything up to this point has made sense to you, whether that's recognition of that you've already done in your particular field, or just because, frankly, it isn't rocket science, it should hopefully make sense. And unfortunately, lots of courses, books, manuals, call it what you will, like to overcomplicate things because they want you to go on more and more courses. They want you to feel dependent on doing more stuff. I'll be honest and tell you now, by Sunday, tomorrow night, you will know everything that has enabled me to make shed loads of money from hypnotherapy, NLP, complete mind, call it what you will, over the past 20, nearly 21 years. It bought me my own property outright for cash, no mortgages or loan, by the age of 30. It means I have control of 3 cars with a value in excess of 150 grand with personalised number plates. I get driven around into shows. I don't have a driving licence. I don't because I like to have a drink, but I have a drive. I've done very well, thank you, from what seems like a load of trickery or just normal common sense stuff. Unfortunately, common sense isn't that bloody common. Or fortunately it isn't that common, otherwise we wouldn't have the ability to earn money from it and actually help people. And it sadly is as simple as that. So let's have some more demos. Let me just have a bit more of this screen. I'm just thinking of the best way of doing this. Nah, fuck it, I'm going to go off on one. It's not like me, is it? We've already covered all of this, more so than you may already realise. Believe it or not, I would arguably say that this morning, with the demos I've done and what I've talked about, that when it all falls into place, you know more of use than you would get out of a week-long NLP course. And that's not just me being the egotistical cunt I am. That's honestly my true belief. So some of what I'm about to say, you'll go, oh, it's already covered that in different words. That's because, yes, I have. Okay. The so-called bits about so-called NLP, or as it could stand for, nonsensically long pantomime, or it could stand for natural language patterns or natural learning processes. That perhaps would be a bit more honest. It's about understanding the way people are wired up. Okay. Disassociation, we talked about that before. I'm just going to put disassociate because I can't bother writing. I know this is on the notes you take away with you anyway. Disassociation, that's immediately the moment the client comes to you, reacting and talking in a manner as if that problem is immediately, problem issue, call it what you will, habit addiction, has gone the moment they walk into your office. Now with higher end problems it's going to take more than one session. But if you act as low, then you're giving more of an intent, and we're going back to all the stuff we spoke about before. So with the phraseology of, so what did bother you in the past? Now they might still turn around and go, well what happens is now, and talk in the present tense, and this is I suppose getting to cognitive behavioural therapy stuff again, I will admit, I've studied CBT, I've studied all of these fucking things that I think are wank, and that's why I stand here and say it is as simple as this. I have done the courses, I've got the bits of paper. If you check my Facebook, bloody photo section, I've got more bits of paper than most therapists out there. I just try not to make a point of saying I have, because I want to empower people that you don't need to do all those courses. I've wasted the money, something. You don't have to. Yeah. Disassociation is reacting the moment you see that person as if it's no longer an issue. So what used to bother you? How did that used to affect you? Talking is in the past tense. It really is as simple as that. Okay. NLP will talk about future pacing. Future pacing, in a nutshell, fuck all the complicated shite they come out with. It's as simple as them talking when you are treating them, or after the treatment, even more so, in terms of how that's going to continue. So, you know, as you relax there with your eyes closed, imagine yourself 1 year, you know, a week, a month, a year from now, and notice how good it feels to realise how much you have achieved. It's talking in terms of it having happened, but still occurring and being positive in the future. You're pacing their future behaviour. Future pacing, the winky wanky term they give it. Okay? Now what they call embedded commands. And believe me, there's way more wanky terms than the ones I'm going to go into. I'm just telling you from my experience, my success and that of my clients and the people I advise, these are the only ones that really have got any relevance in the real world and work. Embedded commands is the idea of one sentence that sounds something in one manner, consciously, but within it has got an instruction or suggestion. So, I could casually say, I don't know if you want to go into trance now, or in a few moments' time, but go into trance you will, as you relax more. I could say that, and that's like, sounds like I'm giving you options. But also what it is, I'll come back to the embedded command bit in a minute, what that is a double bind, as they call it in NLP. I'm giving you the illusion of choice. But your choice is the end result that I desire. I don't know if you want to go into trance now, or in a few moments' time. But go into trance you will, as you relax more. All the end results of any of them, whichever they choose, is to go into trance, or whatever they perceive trance to be. You don't need to get into the semantics of that. If their eyes are closed, they're relaxed, and they keep them closed and do what you say when you say, then they're hypnotised. We keep it as simple as that.
I came across a lot of those in sales, like, do you want to pay by cash or check? Or the other one, the con one, that was somebody trying to use on me once, was you, like me, believe that.
Oh yeah, you, like me, and you casually do the physical movement, so you, like me, probably find that coming here is very relaxing, but you put in a visual anchor, you, like me, that is an embedded command. Double bind law is giving them the illusion of choice, one thing or the other. Whichever they choose law is the end result you wanted. So, I don't know if you want to go into a trance now or in a few moments' time, but go into a trance you will. It's still the same end result. Now the embedded command bit is changing the voice tone slightly on certain words in that sentence. So that, well, consciously it's perceived as the illusion of choice, the double bind. On an unconscious level, another message gets through. Because the doorman, the security guard, doesn't realise it's there. Or that's all he hears and he goes past. So, we'll take the words go into trance now, or go into trance, those direct suggestions, and a direct suggestion is something you're saying directly to them. So to be honest, a direct suggestion is, e.g. saying something like, you no longer need, want, crave or desire for cigarettes or tobacco. So arguably, this is a direct suggestion that's hidden in a sentence, therefore it gets called an embedded command, because that drags out an NLP course longer while they give you examples. But ultimately that's what it is, right? So by that slight voice tone change, that sentence I said before at one level can become, I don't know if you want to go into a trance now, or in a few moments' time. But go into a trance, you will all the same as you relax more. Seems totally innocent, but by that slight voice tone change, it gets perceived on two different levels. Or as it sometimes gets called, in some new books that are out, dual reality. So that makes sense when you come across that wanky term.
The other thing I noticed when you did the thing with everybody, I noticed you say something I say, so I've been using it for years, so I assume I've obviously modelled it from you.
I modelled it from Richard Bandler.
Right.
And that is, I'm talking to your unconscious now. I'm talking to your unconscious, i.e. your subconscious mind. That's how it gets perceived. But I go, I'm talking to your unconscious now. So it's like a suggestion that your unconscious are in some sort of hypnotic state. It's an embedded command.
I use it all the time.
Or a hidden direct suggestion. Yeah. You only need to know the fundamentals of this, because frankly, there are only so many phrases I've ever used in my 21-year career. Because you don't need to know more than them, because you can just adapt them to whatever the situation is. Cool. We then have indirect suggestions. Indirect suggestions. They could be verbal or non-verbal. Non-verbal ones being what we talked about before. Or rather, just a few moments ago we did as well. You know, you, like me, by the hand movement being you towards them, and then like me, it's a visual indirect suggestion, but also you're technically anchoring, the other term we use in NLP, you're technically anchoring the idea in a non-verbal style that they like you, you know. Or when we were talking before, you know, I went, so on the scale of 0 to 10 and all that calibration thing. Calibration, that's the other word they use in NLP a lot. The 0 to 10 thing, I'll call it. Okay, that we've covered. That in itself had the visual suggestion of it's now lower. Starts off high and now it's lower. Yeah? It's all making sense and falling into place. I hope it's. I'm seeing signs of recognition. But yes, it really is this simple. Anchoring can go a little bit beyond that to like giving them positive suggestions and pressing their finger and thumb together and every time you do that in future you'll feel that real positivity. That'll become clearer with further demos, but just be aware of that and you'll think, oh yeah, that's what he talked about, that's anchoring. Spatial anchoring that we talk about in NLP is that literally taking a space. So whenever I've talked about the past today, you'll know that I pointed this way, you may recall. When I've talked about future, I've pointed that way. When I've talked about negatives, I've pointed that way. When I've talked about positives, I've moved into the zone. So it's naturally creating a physiological reaction in the person on a non-verbal level. It's the bollocks that we tell you in NLP. I don't know if that's true or not. I couldn't give a shite. If it does have an effect, you may as well do it.
Where did treat me in sales? Because what I would do is I would put them buying the product over there, and then all the pain and
all the reasons why not to over there.
Oh, you don't want that, do you?
So then when you come to the sale, you pull them over here, and you know it's like, would you like to take delivery on Thursday, or would Friday suit you best? A double bind. This works in all areas of life. Yeah.
There's a really beautiful embedded, again, relating it back to sales. As far as embedded commands and anchoring things are concerned, and you've seen me use it before, is if you're doing a presentation, that's the end of it, there's a pictures, as you're giving them all of this information, you're going through this information, so you'll say something and you'll say, kind of nod your head if you understand that, you get everyone kind of agreeing with you, and on quite regular basis, probably once every 20 or 30 minutes, I'll make a really valid point that everyone, you can see, they go, yeah, that's a valid point. And I put my hand up and I say, put your hand up, do you kind of get that? And they put their hand up and I say, do you kind of buy all that? At the same time I'm using the words buy all that.
Which is a conditioned response, Pavlov's dog, over a period of your presentation, so at the end they, oddly enough, feel the need to buy all that. Yeah.
And the hand in there.
And at the end, when you walk off stage, if you condition them, you can actually go, you know, before I leave you, I'd just like to say those people who were asking in the break, doesn't matter whether they were or not, we have got the CDs and DVDs available at the back of the room. They are on special offer tonight, so grab that opportunity while you can. Because I'm sure you'll find that fantastically wonderful and likeable and positive anchoring. So anyway, I'd like to thank you all for coming, and just I'd like to say thank you, have a safe journey on, and goodbye. goodbye. Well, it ties in with bye all that. Not good night, goodbye.
It's a goodbye.
Positive, yeah, it's a goodbye. It's embedded, which is an embedded command. You haven't thought of that, have you?
No, right,
But it's an embedded command. Oh yeah, I've used shit like that. Yeah.
It was great in sales because I could do the sales, but getting paid from the company was a different matter.
Mm.
That was the hardest part. Was not actually flogging the stuff and getting them. It was actually getting.
No, I am slightly going off on one. But can I just borrow your pen and pad a moment, please, Mark? When you've said that well enough. Because let's say that. Oh, no, sorry. Use that. Let's just say you're getting to the end. You want to sell them something. You've got your clipboard here with the contract on. Pen. All they need to do is sign at the bottom, right? Take the pen, put it at the top, hold it with your thumb, and you've gone through your objection dealing and all this crap, and you've done perhaps, you know, everything negatives over there. Whenever they talk about bad stuff, you keep pointing there. When it's good, you're pointing there. So you're doing all what we've talked about in the different contests, and it comes to the end and you go, so, if price was not an issue, what colour would you like of the car? Oh, yeah, red. And if if it was possible for it to be here at the end of next week, would Thursday or Friday suit you best? So you're getting them yes, 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 that condition positively. Now you want them to sign this contract, so you ain't going to go, do you want to use the pen or the pencil? That's a bit too obvious at this point. Hand them the clipboard and say, you're going to love this, say, would you just like to take a look at the agreement that makes all that possible for you? Just take it, be a punter and take it. You're going to try to. Now what are you going to do? You've grabbed the pen in your other hand because you don't want it to fall. You're ready to sign. And your natural physiological response is it's now easier to sign at the bottom. Without saying, you've got them into buying mode. Trust me, that made me a fortune when I was doing timeshare in Tenerife. That one thing alone, I swear, is worth 10 times the cost of this course. Just hand it them like that, I swear. All your best. Hand it them like that. So, you've got all the objections out of the way. They basically said yes, they'll have it if they could afford it. But we'd just like to have a look at the conditions that mean, that this is possible for you. Okay, and you can just sign at the bottom, that's brilliant. And they're all ready. They're physiologically ready in that conditioned response they're used to of signing. It's going to be so hard for them not to sign now. I promise you, that's worth.
He's got a free notepad out of it.
That's worth. I have to tell you, that is worth so much money. I should do sales courses as well. I used to, but I just don't think it's a bit unethical. But it's Excuse me. Pardon me. Right. NLP shite. Calibration. Dissociation, anchoring, future pacing, embedded commands, double bind, direct suggestion, indirect suggestion, dual reality, swish pattern. Essentially, anything that takes one idea, thought, belief, image, whatever word or label you want to give it, and another one that's perhaps more positive and confuses the two, or changes them over, or blurs them together so that the positive outcome that you want is more pleasurable and positive than what's being left in the past. That happens like that quick. However you do it is arguing with what NLP is on about when they say a swish pattern. That's as much as you need to fucking know. Seriously, it is. So it doesn't matter if it's like, see all the negative images there, and get them to look at your hand, and all the positives here. And the positives are now big and bright, and imagine turning up the volume and the colour. And they call that ramping up the positivity in NLP. And over here, the negative image of the past that you're now leaving behind. Just imagine turning it down so all the colour, all the sound drains away. And watch, boom! Look at that, we're together. Now the thing is, that's black and white, drained away, that's positive. You suddenly put them together, it's fucking overload. That's more powerful than the negative. The positive takes over from the negative. I know that sounds simplified, but that's what a fucking swish pattern is. There you go. That should save you another half day of an NLP course. Right, I know I sound so cynical now, but...
You're not joking.
I'm not joking, no. Well, because you've done it.
I did a rapid one, that was still 4 days.
Hey! I'm not joking, am I? This is truly, when you get down to it, this is...
To be fair, he actually learned from you a lot of it.
Well, he's padded it out.
Yeah.
Because he hasn't got the confidence to turn around and go, you know what, you only need to know this. Because some people are of the perception you need to do a week longer.
More valuable then,
You did it
doesn't
on a whole day on that? On that one subject?
We did half a day on swish patterns.
You can have.
We did lots of stuff though. We
Yeah.
did little movies and fast forwarding them.
Did he
and
make you do the
stamps
whoosh
and
bits when you think when
you do the swish, but you do the whoosh and stuff. Yeah.
We can make the noise like swish. That's why it's called swish pattern. Swish! That's the movement. We'll come into that a bit more when we talk about Nick and Eva's visual coding displacement therapy, which I'm not allowed to teach it because it's trademarked to Nick and Eva Speakman. However, as it's fundamentally just an end model of stuff that is not new in any manner, I do feel I can teach you all the components that make it up. Obviously, I've got to tell you, you can't use the name visual coding displacement therapy, and technically you shouldn't use the process without having the correct trademark certificate from them. But I can tell you all the components that make it up, so you can come up with your own version.
Well, nothing's new, is there? It's all just rehashed.
Yeah. It's so that people can justify courses, but it is sadly dissimilar. So right, switch patterns, moving along, because there is so much stuff. Right, I'm trying to think of all the stuff you know. There's the fast phobia cure. We'll put that in a sort of area of its own, and I won't go into that just right this second. I'll come to that on its own, because it's sort of a technique on its own. But it does sort of, in itself, the fast phobia cure, combine an element of swish, mixing up an image differently. It does combine elements of disassociation by draining the colour out. It does combine elements of the phraseology. It does combine elements of anchoring by making something that was negative positive, by making it laughable and making the person laugh and release positive chemicals in the body. It's just a technique that combines all of these little elements. I just feel if you know what the little elements are, you might already be thinking to yourself, you know what, that's pretty much what you did this morning. That's because it is. Excuse me. And it's pretty much what you'll be seeing me do for the rest of today and tomorrow. Albeit in different contexts with different movements and what have you, to give you more of a toolkit. But after that then, frankly, if you want to be fucking ridiculous enough to waste money on a course, fine. I'd say just sit and use a bit of creativity and imagination, or spend a bit of time on YouTube seeing someone, because there's invariably going to be someone who's posted a video of them using this latest technique that you could get brainwashed into thinking you need to learn. And when you sit back and look at it, you go, association, swish. And you can spot for yourself the bits that are being used, and you don't need the fucking course then, because you already know how to do it! And you don't need the piece of paper to make your ego feel better. Make one up for yourself, just don't use a trademark name, come up with a different name and print it out your fucking self. There's nothing wrong with that, it's not fraudulent. As long as you've got visual coding displacement therapy, it's trademarked. You cannot use that name on your website without having a trademarked, legally recognised, signed by them certificate. Right, okay, fast forward your cue we'll cover on its own. Anchoring, well obviously there can be positive anchoring, negative anchoring. There can be collapsing anchors. Collapsing anchors, what's that? Undoing an anchor that the person's got in their life for a conditioned response. How do we do that? Make it more positive to do something else. Or turn it so it's negative to continue doing that. Going back to the context before, the pain and pleasure model. Did we all understand the pain and pleasure model before, yeah? So it is an element of common sense. If they're doing something they don't want to do, we've got to make it more pleasurable not to do it and painful to do it. If they're not doing something they want to do, we've got to make it pleasurable to do it and painful to carry on not doing it. But it is really as simple as that. And you know, in NLP they'll go, oh well, you can get them, and I'll demonstrate it tomorrow because I'm going to run out of stuff to tell you because we're learning so fast as a group that I will just demonstrate it for a time killing exercise. The shite where you touch one knee and anchor positive and then one knee in the negative and then you touch them at the same time, but because you've really ramped up the idea on the positive side, for example, when you touch them at the same time it causes confusion in the brain, so it wipes out the negative and only the positive remains, or vice versa depending on the context of the pain and pleasure model you're using. You know what, ironically, with a bit of common sense, I'm thinking by now everyone in this room actually does understand how to do collapsing anchors NLP-wise. If you understood the pain and pleasure model, you do. But we'll still go back to it tomorrow. Okay, so that's the various elements of disassociation, obviously we don't. Then there's positive association, which is very akin to future pace. I mean, so much as it's getting people to visualise things and make a positive association, oddly enough. The name sort of says it all. I don't need to say much more on that. Okay. Come on, anyone else think of any winky wanky NLP terms that I haven't really mentioned yet?
Timeline therapy.
Timeline therapy. Okay. Oh, this is best done with a demo actually. Timeline therapy. Okay. I will pre-warn whoever volunteers for this, it is potentially very emotional. And that's not me future pacing the idea to you, although that suggestion obviously is within the words I've said. It's just that I'm pre-warning you from a legal point of view. And for the way that I do timeline therapy, you don't have to, but the way I'd like to for this demo, it does require someone who's prepared to sort of walk up and down a bit here. Who would like to address some sort of, and again we can do this content free, some sort of emotional issue or something they feel may be holding them back psychologically. Alright, okay. I will pre-warn you, this could be quite odd, but it can be content free. Are you alright with that? Okay. Round of applause for Caroline then. Okay. It's the way I do it, it's not necessarily the way all the textbooks say it. Different textbooks say different things. You'll find that any area of this business, because people want to make money from selling you a new concept. Ultimately, it's the idea of why these things work that I'm trying to teach you so you can... Okay? Okay, without needing to tell me, and it's probably best that you don't, with something like this, content free, is there something that you could think about now that was a big issue in the past? Yeah? Okay. Would you prefer, it's entirely up to you, would you prefer to stand there, or that? Pick, I know it sounds really ridiculous, but I'd like you to pick a spot here. Alright, okay, stand where you feel right for you. And once again, it's always where it feels right for you. This goes a lot against what you'll read in the textbooks on timeline therapy. Same end result, but I just like to add bits in like where feels right for you, giving people the illusion of choice. It doesn't really make a right lot of odds to what we're going to do, but it does make them feel like they've got a sense of control. People need a sense of control in life. Yeah, and safety. Yeah, cool. Okay. So what I'd like you to do, Caroline, in the time that feels right for you, just close your eyes. Take a nice deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth, and we're truly not going to hypnotise you. Although arguably you are because your eyes are closed, but we're not going to go through any formal induction process. As you are fully conscious, I'd like you to just take a few moments to think of that which was bothering you, that issue. Okay. And as you do, and you're getting a sense and a feeling of it almost at its worst, but without being there, so you don't have to relive it. On the count of 3, I want you, you'll know, and you won't know how you know, but you'll just know the right direction to point. You won't don't think about it too much, you'll just know the right direction to point for you on the count of 3. And if you feel on the count of 3 when you open your eyes as you point, that's fine too, but you'll just know on the count of 3 which is the right direction for you to point that signifies the worst that ever was of that situation and issue and problem. Okay? 1, 2, 3, now. Okay. Just keep pointing there. Now I'm going to take hold of your right wrist. When I do, it won't bother you, worry you, or concern you. But when I do, I'm going to start moving you in the direction that you're pointing. And I will warn you, I promise you that we will stop the moment you say stop. But the more I move you in the direction of that you're pointing at, the more this may feel somewhat painful or uncomfortable or distressing for you. So it's not about being brave. This is about the moment that you feel you don't want to go any further with that, and you want to leave it behind completely and move forward in your life, that very moment, that very second, that very instant, is about saying stop, and we will stop at that point. Not yet, if you understand, okay? And we'll take hold of your wrist and move you in the direction you're pointing. Is that physically I can feel you? Is that you saying stop? Yeah, okay. Verbal works better for me, but thank you. Just, it's alright, don't worry. We'll stop there. Now I know, and I'm sure anyone else who can see with their eyes knows that you are somewhat feeling that breathing somewhat differently than you were before. There is a physiological change occurred. As you're there, because if you were to move forward, I know it would get a whole lot worse. So on the count of 3 this time, 1, 2, 3, and you may be surprised to find that it's not as obvious as going back to where you were before. But on the count of 3, the moment I click my fingers, you'll instantly, and you won't know how you know, you'll just know that that's right for you. You're going to point in the direction that will be the best place for you to always be in the future. So that positively, permanently and safely, in a way that's right for you, it's like cutting the ties, getting rid of that anchor. 1, 2, 3. That's fantastic. In a few moments' time, I'm going to take hold of your left wrist. It won't bother you, worry you, or concern you in any way. And I'm going to move you in the direction where you're going to feel safer, and you're going to say goodbye to the past completely and leave it totally behind. And I want you to tell me when to stop. But obviously, you know, we're not going to go on for miles because it doesn't take that long as you've already just found. But I want you to go far enough that the positive place that you need to be and will continue to be from this moment forward is so bright, vivid and clear in your mind that you feel totally calm, safe and secure in every way. And the past is precisely that, gone completely. So we're moving now. Moving towards positivity. It's getting brighter and better and clearer, feeling so much better in every nerve fibre tissue. You can stop there, does that feel a bit bright? In fact, let's go one more step, have it even brighter, that's brilliant. Big smiles, that's brilliant. Take a nice deep breath in. Just take a few moments to allow all that positivity to flood every nerve, fibre, tissue and muscle in your body from the tips of your toes to the tips of your fingers. That is brilliant. Okay. See that clearly in your mind's eye. Okay. And just take a few moments to allow all those positive changes to take place. You don't know how those are happening, but you know it's right for you because you know what you felt is very real for you. Okay. We're just, for the sake of demonstration here, now I'm just going to ask you to open your eyes. And this is going to feel a little bit strange, but be totally honest about it, if I was to bring you over here, yeah, I'm feeling the physical. You don't really want to go back there, do you? You'd sooner.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, in fairness, this doesn't feel too bad over here,
No.
but it's not as good as that, is it? Honestly. So over here is way better. Okay? Get there, close your eyes, keep your eyes closed, that's fantastic. Because this time I'm going to count from 1 to 5. On the count of 5, you wouldn't normally do that with the client, by the way, I'm just doing that for demonstration purposes. On the count of 5, because you can probably notice there are physiological, visual changes in behaviours and reactions. On the count of 5, and only on the count of 5, then and only then, I want you to open your eyes. When you do, I want you to realise that in your mind's eye, in a way that feels right for you, any of the pathways that led you to the past, as it once was before we did this fantastic work together. Any of those pathways, I don't know, some people decide to imagine bricking them up with concrete so it's or a massive steel wall, or blowing them up so that, whatever feels right for you, I'd just like you to imagine destroying any pathway so that you know in your mind's eye, in every nerve, fibre, tissue and muscle in your body, from the tips of your toes to the tips of your fingers, in a way that feels right for you, that the past is gone completely. You may still be aware of it in your mind, but it can never bother you, worry you or concern you as it once did in the past. It's just like an old black and white movie. But all the colour, intensity and positivity is right here, right now. A lot of blue world is cemented positively and permanently your new reality. So 1, every nerve, fibre, tissue and muscle in your body, from the tips of your toes to the tips of your fingers, being washed with pure spring water, revitalised, re-energised, On 2, whichever is the way you've chosen to completely remove, completely eliminate, completely erase those pathways that led to the past. Now is the time to destroy them, just to let go and relax in a way that feels positive, calm, relaxed and safe for you. 3, almost as if all the stresses, tensions, worries, fears and apprehensions of days and weeks gone by are leaving your mind, leaving your body now, huge weight being lifted off your shoulders. 4, looking bright to that wonderful bright future ahead of you. And on 5, any moment now when you feel it's ready, you can just open your eyes. Open your eyes. You alright? Cool? There's a strange look of, without going into whatever it was, because you can remain content-free, there's what I would call a strange look of realisation. But I don't know. What's running through your mind now? And does that feel better? Yeah.
It's strange because I'm down with for 17, 18 years.
Do you know what's really funny now? What's really funny is the fact that even if we take you back to that spot, it doesn't bother you. In fact, it's almost as if you laugh about it yourself. It's a sense of relief that it doesn't bother you like it once did. No. And it is like a way, and it is, I know it is emotional, that's why I pre-warned you, it is.
It's fine.
And probably, you know what we're going to do? We're going to have a quick 5-minute toilet brew and cigarette break, and we're going to reconvene and explain how timeline therapy works, because this is actually emotional. I think you probably either need a way out, at the very least, to go and wash your face. Thank you for being brave enough to volunteer. See you back in here in 5 minutes. Yeah, well I figured everyone should probably do with a bit of fresh air, a bit of water on the face and a quick sip of liquid or something.
What was interesting to see was you